Hi everyone, welcome to this week's episode of No Such Thing as a Fish, where we were joined by the incredibly funny and the absolutely charming Zoe Lyons. If you watch QI, which I bet you do if you listen to this, then you will know all about Zoe. She's always fantastic when she comes on our show. She's also brilliant on all the other things she does. Mock the Week is probably what I mostly associate her with, but yeah, she's a brilliant comedian. She's so funny, she's so nice and so quick. I mean, all these comedians are, but Zoe, honestly, she is so quick off the blocks. It's unbelievable. And actually, what a nice segue. She has a podcast out all about running. Her podcast is called The Running Joke. It's with her and Esther Manito, and they just talk all about running. You don't have to be a fast runner to enjoy it. It's for everyone, really. Even if you just plod along at your own pace, it's for you. It's extremely accessible. It's extremely funny, as you would expect everything to be that involves Zoe, and highly recommend you get that. It's called The Running Joke, and you get it wherever you get your podcasts. While I'm here, like always, I should remind you about Club Fish. Go to patreon.com/clubfish. If you would like to get involved there, just sign up. You don't need to give us any money, and you will get extra little bits every now and then, like a newsletter that we're currently doing, which has lots of behind-the-scenes stuff. Or you could give us a little bit of money every month, help support the podcast, and you can get ad-free episodes, you can get bonus content, you can get merch, you can even get a shout-out on our other show, Little Fish. There's all sorts there for everyone. Go to patreon.com/clubfish to learn more about that. But in the meantime, please enjoy this show, which I'm absolutely certain you will, with the incredible Zoe Lyons. Okay, on with the podcast.
Hello and welcome to another episode of No Such Thing as a Fish, a weekly podcast coming to you from the QI offices in Holborn. My name is Dan Schreiber. I am sitting here with James Harkin, Andrew Hunter Murray, and Zoe Lyons. And once again, we have gathered round the microphones with our 4 favorite facts from the last 7 days. And in no particular order, here we go. Starting with fact number 1, and that is Zoe.
Thank you very much. And I've brought a lovely little fact along for you this week. Apparently, researchers have discovered that humans may have evolved to run long distances as a result of their endurance pursuit hunting skills.
Okay.
So the idea being that humans would pursue its prey for long periods of time to exhaust it. They'd use a technique of sort of running in the heat predominantly, so that the animal would become completely exhausted and suffer from heat exhaustion. Eventually tire. We don't know how long it would take to tire, but I'm guessing quite a while if you're a deer.
Because over 1 mile, almost every animal in the world beats us.
Yeah.
Or at least any mammal, not insects don't, but like a house cat would absolutely batter us over a mile.
Right.
Yeah.
Really?
But the further and further we get, the closer we get to them. And eventually, over a couple of days, we beat everyone.
And is that because we've got things like energy bars and, and supportive
Protein
shoes?
shakes.
It's largely Gatorade that has helped us become the dominant species.
Because we've got a good audio book going on and we don't want to stop.
We've developed our skills.
Whereas cats, silly things, don't listen to things like that over time.
There are loads of different reasons, but it's all due to our anatomy, right?
Yes. So we've got longer legs. We've got a longer leg, but also we've got, I'm going to say, cracking buttocks.
Do we?
Yeah, we've got really good buttocks that help
Thank you
us
for
run.
noticing. Thank you for noticing.
You're the
Zoe.
first guest we've ever had who noticed that.
Yeah, cracking buttocks. It's the only reason I'm on the podcast is to sit around with a selection of absolutely cracking buttocks.
Cracking buttocks is a great name for a podcast.
It is, isn't
It
it?
is.
But we've got cracking buttocks. We've got long tendons. And we've also got an incredible ability to sweat profusely, which
That has been mentioned.
Yes,
on this podcast before.
Again, we're cracking a window in a minute. So it means that whereas a deer or another mammal might suffer with the heat over the long endurance runs, we are able to literally sweat it out.
We can just
And
get
keep
radiated and
going,
chuck it away.
keep
And
going.
That's really good.
I also read that the upright thing is really interesting because us being upright means that when we're running, we can separate breathing in and out and our strides, right? If you're a quadruped and you're running with your legs going in and out, you're sort of moving like an accordion. You know,
Ah, yes.
so
Yeah.
you're sort of having to time your breathing. You're getting squeezed at various points, and this, of course, is why horses and dogs are famously bad runners.
I'll tell you what, when I do running, I sound a bit like an accordion when I'm wheezing. It's like,
That wheezing sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we can breathe independently of our stride, which is helpful when
Interesting.
you're running a very long
although,
distance.
Zoe,
Yeah.
you run a lot, right? Or
Yeah, I've gone through phases of running a lot. I am now getting back into it, and it really took off me during the pandemic when we could do nothing else. So I started running and didn't really stop.
like Forrest Gump.
Yeah, sort of out of fear, and it culminated in my brother and I running from London to Brighton. So we did,
What
did
is that? How long is that?
That's 100 kilometres.
Wow.
Which sounds more. It's 60 miles, but I always say 100 kilometres because I think that sounds more impressive.
Triple figs in it.
Yeah,
It's not like
figs.
is there a big
Yeah.
old hill right near the end?
Right,
Yes.
right at the end. Very, very close to the end.
Ditchling Beacon.
It is Ditchling Beacon. It's an
nightmare.
absolute bastard.
Why has it been a nightmare for you, Andy?
Well, I cycle London to Brighton sometimes.
Yes,
you?
everybody
Okay.
complains about that when they
And
cycle
it's
it.
a real,
Yeah.
it's a real pain.
And it's quite a thing right at the end.
right.
And we hit it, it was like 2:00 in the morning by the time we hit that.
So did you do it in one go?
We did it in one go,
Oh
yeah.
my goodness.
Yeah, it took a very, very, very long time.
The reason I asked you that, Zoe, is because when I was running, you do breathe on your steps, don't you? It's like a
yeah.
rhythm. You try and
Yeah.
breathe when you're stepping.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Well, now that I'm getting back into my running, and I just did a half marathon a couple of weeks ago, I have a sort of meditative thing in my head where I asked a long distance runner once, he used to run hundreds of miles. I said, "What do you think about?" And he said, "I just go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3." And I went, "Really?"
Psychopath.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Was he waltzing?
He was just 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Skip ball change, 1, 2, 3.
And shuffle.
Shuffle. Yeah.
I mean, he did pretty well, but his partner did it backwards.
Yeah,
and reversed.
yeah, exactly. When they came to the lifts, it all fell apart. But I do that now when I'm running. But I don't stop at 3. I go to 8. And it really helps with the breathing. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it becomes so meditative.
Right.
It becomes so meditative, and it sort of tunes into your way of thinking and the sort of flow of your brain and the flow of your breath. And
Do you know what might have happened to you during that one run between London and Brighton? At the end of it, you would have been shorter.
yes,
You
possibly.
would have been about half an inch shorter.
Yes.
Because your spine gets so compressed as you're running that you literally lose height. So that would have recovered about 20 to 48 hours afterwards. But because of the length that you ran, not only might you have been shorter, but your brain might have been 6% smaller
Wow.
or up to 6% smaller.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I did question every moment of it after, like, there was a bit where I was going, why on earth are we doing this?
Well, it's
Yeah.
what ultramarathon runners experience. And it's basically when your body has run out of things to burn or is running out of things to burn, there's a fatty substance in your brain that coats around nerve cells called myelin, and your brain just starts eating itself.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. And that takes like 6 months to recover from.
Are you
as well.
serious?
Yeah. So you might have been half an inch shorter and 6% less
I was
intelligent.
absolutely delirious by the end.
Right.
I was completely delirious by the end. It does awful things to your body. I hadn't trained running and eating, and I told my brother this as we set off, and he went, "Oh my God, really?" I said, "Yeah, I'll be fine." He went, "You mean you've never run and eaten at the same time?" I went, "No, I'm sure it'll be absolutely fine." Anyway,
Can't you stop?
well, I mean, yes,
You're
but
meant
it's
to keep-
but it's your
Right.
body can't quite digest it. Let me just say, it was quite catastrophic.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, it was. I finished the race, but not in the shorts I started in. Yeah,
Enough
Yeah.
said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Understood.
yeah,
Message received.
Well,
yeah.
As a cracking butt.
There's a definite cracking butt on that one.
I was reading about this. So ultramarathons can induce consequences of all sorts through the body.
We're all adults here.
What-
Come
what?
on, Andy. What do you mean?
Okay, this is a piece on, I think it was Running World. If you've ever seen post-race urine samples, you will know that things can be bad. I have seen a few pee cups after hot, grueling ultramarathons, and they could serve as the set location for my next big game show. Coca-Cola, tomato soup, or urine.
Wow. Yeah.
It can be brown. It can have pulp, apparently.
Who's this?
Pulp.
It can have bits.
Like orange juice.
Yeah, like
Oh God.
you don't want to know what that is, apparently. I mean, it gets...
Oh, gosh.
But yeah, I guess if it
Wow.
like I've had friends who've done like the Marathon des Sables in the Sahara, and that
wow.
that is intense, absolutely intense. And the level of dehydration must be just,
Yeah.
You'd be weeing out all sorts of dust, I would imagine, by the end of that.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the idea that we've evolved to run is also the idea behind maybe barefoot running. Some people think it's healthier to run without shoes than it is to run with shoes. And I think the studies look at it and probably say that it's better to be barefoot than to just get a pair of trainers off the shelf. But if you get really specialist trainers, they're probably better still.
They're so bouncy these days. Yeah. Honestly, I'm wearing basically 2 mattresses strapped to my feet. I've got a new pair of shoes and they are bouncy. Yeah. And they do help with the knees and everything. Because I'm getting older as well. So you've got to be careful of the joints and everything. Yeah. So, 2 big bouncy pairs of shoes.
Speaking of bouncy, some people think that the obvious next step from barefoot running is completely naked running.
Oh.
I'm gonna disagree with that and just say chaffing. Chaffing is bad.
I was thinking there would be less chaffing if there was less clothing.
No, skin on skin is not good. It's not good. Yeah.
But there are some manufacturers that make something called naked shorts. They're about as naked as you can get but they're still shorts. They still preserve your modesty.
Right.
But they're like, you can hardly feel that they're on there.
Okay. I was talking to somebody about this the other day, about naked running, funnily enough. And the thing is, with sort of high-tech running gear, it's designed to sort of pull the moisture away from the skin. So you you stay drier. But if you've just got sweaty skin on sweaty skin, wherever that may be, whichever bit is touching which other bit, you will get problems. And it's things on a long distance runs, little things that you don't think about, like a label in your shorts can just over time take a leg off.
And also once it gets in your head, that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like you're running and basically if you're relatively fit you can keep running, but your brain is always telling you to stop unless you're an athlete. Your brain's always saying, I'll just get to that next lamppost and then I'll stop. And so if you feel anything like a little label, your brain is just saying, I need to stop and sort that
label out. That's a very interesting point. And I've only found out recently there's a technique of running called jeffing, which apparently is what these hunters used to do as well, which is a combination of run walking. And it's after a guy called Jeff Galloway, who was an American Olympian. And it's used by a lot of runners now, where you do conserve energy going up slight inclines, or to stop long-term fatigue, walk for a bit. So it's running and walking. It's a combination of both. And apparently people are doing really, really good times on long-distance runs by using that combination of running and walking and jeffing it.
Interesting.
I didn't realise I was actually a professional athlete by just walking for a bit. I was feeling pretty proud of myself now.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question of you, Zoe?
Yes.
As the champion runner around this table, do you smile?
Oh, well, while I'm running?
Yeah.
Well, not according to the race photos that I just got through, which were, I'm going to say, alarming.
Okay.
In the latest one, I look weirdly like David Cameron. Yeah.
Right.
I'm just like bitterly disappointed and puffy in the face.
Is there a race photo that's kind of like a roller coaster photo? Like, is there a spot?
Yeah.
It's a spot that just takes everyone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's normally a photographer.
I do not look good in those photos. I think I'm smiling, but I'm clearly not. I'm weeping.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it could help.
Right.
Really?
There have been lots of, obviously, so many people are interested in what helps and doesn't help when you're running. If you smile, it doesn't have to be a real smile.
Yeah.
You just have to stick one on.
Okay.
It means you will use a bit less oxygen. You will run a bit more economically, and your internal perceived exertion is lower than people who are frowning while they're running.
I get that. I do understand. It goes back to what you were saying about saying stop, I must stop. Apparently, if you change your internal monologue, and this goes back, Jeff Galloway apparently trained people to think of positive words. And his words were, I've written them down, it was really lovely. It was relax, power, glide.
Fantastic. Really
So if you have those words going around in your head as you're running, that will help.
I can believe
so I'm
it.
going to smile.
Smile. Well, this is what I'm going to start shouting at joggers.
Yeah.
Smile, you cheer up, lads.
Why don't you try relaxing?
Give us a smile.
Yeah.
Is it the old thing that you used to see on greetings cards, which is like it takes fewer muscles to smile than frown or whatever it
Yeah.
was? Is
Yeah.
it to do with that?
Right.
I
Yeah,
don't
it takes fewer muscles still to stuff that card up somebody's arsehole. So it's like, shove that where the sun don't shine. Yeah.
Very funny.
There is, of course, one animal that can outrun all humans. I know you said that almost every mammal is better.
Really? Over long distances?
Over long distances?
Yeah. A heron.
Okay.
Heron.
Yeah.
But that is cheating if you're running with your wings in the air.
No. This is Camille Heron, who is an ultramarathon runner from France.
Oh,
And you all walked right into my little trap there.
absolutely.
Yeah.
What a disgrace.
She's broken various records. She's run, at one point, 560 miles in 6 days.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. But there's been a bit of a scandal about her.
Oh.
She's lost her support from Lululemon.
Okay.
Oh, so Lululemon is what, a clothing company?
Clothing
They
company.
do very, very expensive
Yes.
sports gear, don't
Yeah.
they? And basically, her husband was found to have been editing Wikipedia entries of other runners to remove various
Really?
runs that they had done and various achievements that they'd made. I think the implication is to make his wife look better.
Yes.
Oh dear.
Apparently, she didn't know about it, but it's caused a bit
It's
of a.
not. My wife does that with other podcasters on Wiki, and it's. I don't see what's wrong with it.
Yeah.
It's-
You'll find no trace at all of off menu on Wikipedia. It's a huge show. It should be there.
that doesn't exist. Okay, it is time for fact number 2, and that is my fact. My fact this week is that celebrity chef Anthony Bourdain used to chop his onions with a knife from outer space.
Wow.
Correct.
Very cool.
Correct reaction.
Yeah.
So I discovered this. There's an amazing photo on a blog of a photographer called David Scott Holloway, who has this beautiful shot of this knife that used to belong to Bourdain. And it was a knife that featured originally in a TV show that Bourdain had done, where he was meeting a lot of master craftsmen who were involved in the world of food. And one of the people was Bob Kramer. And Bob Kramer makes knives where he blends steel and meteorite together. And there's a huge waiting list of people who request them. And largely they're bought at auction these days. And Bourdain said it was his favorite knife. And so now Bourdain is dead and a lot of his stuff was auctioned. So it went up for auction.
Oh, you didn't.
What did you?
I was outbid, unfortunately. I was outbid before it started because the opening price was $50,000.
Wow.
It went for 250,000 American.
American dollars.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
and it
ended-
wasn't signed, so you weren't going to pay that.
Oh,
much.
I'm not interested in an unsigned space knife. Are you kidding me?
Can you put it in the dishwasher? That's what I need to know.
Yeah.
If it $250,000.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Pretty wild, isn't it?
Yes.
But yeah.
Because actually, all my knives cut onions perfectly well.
Yes.
So, was this that much better that it's worth that, do you think?
Well, this is Bourdain saying that it is, so we have to go by him
Oh,
because
yeah.
obviously we haven't touched it.
He's
but-
an expert.
It's just cool, isn't it, that it's made of a meteorite? It is just cool.
And does Kramer, does he still make them?
yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of his thing. But,
But
yeah.
so there are some of these meteorite knives out there. It's not a one-off.
It's not a one-off, no.
I think I have heard that every Toby Carvery in the UK has one meteorite samurai knife. Yeah, that's what they use,
Right.
Yeah.
I think he gets his meteorite off eBay as well. He's like, there's so much meteorite on eBay.
Where do you source your meteorite?
Well, probably
Does he call it a meteorite? Yeah.
Wow.
I have some meteorite at home, which I just bought off eBay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can just buy it. They're not very expensive, little bits of meteorite.
How do you verify it's meteorite? Like when you feel it, are you like, well, that doesn't feel very worldly?
It's in a
it's in a tube, but
it's
you've
in a
got to say.
tube, but it has a little thing next to it saying this is a meteorite.
Where does
Although
it? I was about to say, where does it come from? Outer space?
I think it's from Morocco.
That's so cool. How did you come by that?
I just bought it for my
eBay.
wife for Christmas.
Pretty. That is
very
pretty. That's a good Christmas present.
It was very cheap.
Was it?
Well, cheaper than you'd think. I can't remember exactly how much, but
That's fascinating. Because then you can do a kind of follow yonder star thing, can't you?
What do you mean?
I brought, the Christmas story. You see
Yeah.
the star in the sky.
Yeah.
Well, I've captured that star and I've bought a bit of it. And there it
Stars
is.
aren't made of steel, though.
Well, let's press on to. Can I tell you my favourite knife?
yes.
So, have you heard of Kinmen?
Who?
Kinmen is an island, tiny Taiwanese island very close to the mainland of China, right?
Right.
So there was a spell of, weirdly, China and Taiwan, they used to not get along very well. And there was a spell...
Before they became one country.
Exactly, yes.
By the time this goes out.
Time of recording and all that. No, they would bomb each other. They would shell each other. And I think they would do it on alternate days of the week. So China got to bomb Kinmen on like Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and then and Kinmen will bomb on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays. I think it had Sundays off.
Yeah.
Anyway, for years, China had this shelling campaign against Kinmen, and there were just artillery shells hitting the island all the time. There are now knife makers who have these huge stocks of old artillery shells, which are made of really high quality steel.
Yeah.
Because you do need, for artillery, you need good steel. And the blacksmiths all over the island produce these amazing knives, and you can buy them.
That's a really wonderful form of recycling.
It's really swords into plowshares, isn't it? I mean, it's properly,
Have they started throwing the knives back at...
No, they haven't yet. Just for cooking, I believe. Yeah, but they've got a lot of it still left.
They used to make them out of gold.
Oh, nice.
Quite soft.
Quite soft, but quite heavy.
Okay.
And I was reading the Oxford Companion to Food, and they said that the only real danger comes from if you drop it on your foot, basically, a gold knife. Silver cutlery, silver spoon, bomb with a silver spoon in your mouth, for instance. Silver is quite poisonous if it gets tarnished. Like if you cut eggs with it, the sulfur sort of reacts with the silver. And it can become mildly poisonous.
So if you crack your boiled eggs with a silver spoon...
It's the sulfur is inside the egg, so it's not the shell, which is made of calcium. It's the inside of the egg. Okay. But if you eat eggs with a silver spoon, it will get tarnished and it's mildly poisonous.
Wow.
And Napoleon III, he gave his most honoured guests aluminium cutlery. Okay. So everyone else used gold, but the really best ones used aluminium.
Right.
Why?
Because at the time, aluminium was way, way, way more expensive than gold. This is in the 1880s. Actually, before the 1880s, it was very difficult to get aluminium. You'd get bauxite, you'd have to get it out of there. It took ages and ages to get this out, and you could only get tiny bits out. Yeah. But then there's a thing called the Hall-Héroult process, which changed it so that in 1852, aluminium was $1,200 per kilo. And by the early 20th century, it was $1 per kilo.
Wow.
Oh, poor investment.
I know. All of your
cryptocurrency of the day.
Yeah.
But if I'd been at a banquet and somebody beside me was having gold cutlery and I was having aluminium cutlery, my nose would have been slightly out of place, I think. Because I think
perceptions
perceptions.
In those days, the Washington Monument has a big load of aluminium on the top of it because at the time it was so expensive. But now you could just do that for 20 quid. I got a question for you, Zoe. So you've been on MasterChef,
yes,
right? On your MasterChef, when you go and cook there, do they give you the absolute high quality, amazing knives? Or is it like all other TV, they just give you the cheapest stuff they can find?
Well, I did end up with a lot of blue plasters on my digits, so they were quite sharp knives.
Oh, really?
They were sharp knives, yeah. So they were good. And the other thing that absolutely lacerate you to pieces is those little graters, you know, that you use
nutmeg.
for nutmeg and garlic and ginger. I had no knuckles for a few months.
Really?
Yeah.
Can I just quickly qualify who this Anthony Bourdain guy is? Because a lot of people might not have heard of him, but he was this sort of rock and roll chef. He was a bit counterculture. A lot of people relate him to people like Hunter S. Thompson, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, because he had quite a debauched life and he did a lot of drugs. And even his origin story of becoming a chef, which he writes about in what became quite a cult, iconic book, Kitchen Confidential. He says that when he was 17, he was working as a dishwasher for a wedding reception. And later on in the evening, he saw the bride and the chef having sex by the garbage. And he thought, okay, that's the job for me. Yeah. And he was a guy who made multiple different kinds of TV shows.
He makes that sound so much cooler in the book. He really does.
You've read it, haven't you, Andy?
I have read it, yeah. He's got a very funny anecdote about he's going up for this huge chefing job, and the proprietor of the restaurant and the manager of the whole thing, they're interviewing him and they're grilling him. And the owner says to him, "What do you know about me?" And Anthony Bourdain doesn't know much about this proprietor at all. He's going through in his head the whole chapter of the book. He's thinking about how the ways he can answer this question. Shall I be honest? Shall I be alert? Shall I say this? Shall I flatter? Shall I do a bit of criticism? And eventually he decides to be honest. He says, "Next to nothing." What do you know about me? Next to nothing. And the interview goes incredibly badly from that point onwards, and he leaves and he doesn't get the job. And 4 days later, he's replaying it in his head, like, how did I get that so badly wrong? And he realizes what he was being asked was, what do you know about meat? Not what do you know about me? And he says, next to nothing. It's just the worst answer.
Unless it was a vegan restaurant.
Exactly. It wasn't a Toby restaurant. And he just,
Brilliant.
just completely screwed
That's
up.
really funny.
I like how he became this big selling author because Kitchen Confidential, I say a cult book. At the time, it was massive. Spent 44 weeks in the bestseller list in America, translated into 22 languages. It's still constantly in print, reissued. And it's all because while he was a chef, he got drunk and he decided to write an article called Don't Eat Before Reading This. And he sent it to the New Yorker. And he never intended it to be published. He was just drunk and he sent it. And they went, this is amazing. And they published it. Yeah. And it got such a response that publishers got in touch saying, can you expand this into an entire book?
Yeah,
and that
I
just
read that
brought us-
article yesterday. And it's pretty, I've worked in a kitchen and I would say it's pretty spot on, really.
Really?
Right.
Yeah. Like, for instance, he says that all the new food comes in on a Tuesday. So whatever you do, don't go to a restaurant on a Monday.
Yeah.
And also a lot of chefs take Monday off. So you probably don't have the best chef and you definitely don't have the best food. This isn't in all restaurants, but it's in quite a lot of them. And he said that there was another thing called save for well done. So if you find a piece of meat and it's like it's really not very nice, or you drop it on the floor, or it's just really awful, you only give it to people who order it well done, because they're such Philistines that they wouldn't know the difference between good meat and bad meat.
That's great. Have you heard of maybe my favourite carver of all time? Just we're on slicing meat and all of
Okay.
this.
Oh, yeah.
A Renaissance Italian called Vincenzo Cervio. And basically, lots of houses used to have their own professional carvers. That was a sign that you were doing really well.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah.
That was a sign you were doing really well.
Yeah.
That showed you were kind of Sir Billy Big Balls.
It's like a 42-inch TV today.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they would just arrive, slice the meat, slice off certain cuts, and they'd do a really good job of it. And then your guests would help themselves. And that was.
Oh, they didn't live with you. They were hired for an occasion.
No, there are records of courtly carvers from the 15th century where they would live and that was their job.
Yeah.
Which is just incredible. You would hold the carvership.
Yeah.
It's quite a big deal. And this is sort of why the idea of Toby Carvery does feel a bit ancient and medieval, despite not being especially. Sorry to cast
I
aspersions.
love that you sold it like that.
like,
Have you been to a Toby Carvery before?
That's why they call it the carvery, isn't it? It sort of sounds like you're partaking in this ancient.
I don't know what I haven't been to
And
one.
he
What
plays
is it?
green sleeves on his lute whenever he goes.
You get 10%. You get 10% off if you bring BYOL. Yeah.
It's the sort of place where you can get all the meats, isn't it?
It's very much an all the meat
Is it a
thing,
big
yeah.
franchise?
All
or-
the meats.
Oh, it's
Oh,
a big.
yeah.
It's a big chain. Yeah,
Okay.
across the country. Anyway, Cervio could carve a goose in mid-air. He would.
While he
Hang
was
on.
flying.
Him or the goose?
He would arrive. You're all asking the right questions. He would arrive holding a goose on a big fork, right? Holding it up. So the goose is impaled on the fork. He's holding it upright. It's been cooked. It's done. And he would gracefully carve it away with his free
You know
hand.
what? That was the Italian way of carving.
Oh, okay.
Like, basically all Italians did it like that, and it was the Germans who did it where you stick a fork on the table and cut it that way.
How interesting.
Yeah.
Because he wrote this book with 86 chapters about the carving of particular foods and the duties of a carver. And he said that carving on a plate is just incredibly pathetic and basic. And anyone who can't carve in midair, so the meat lands hot and perfect on the plate,
Yes.
is doing it wrong. He was like
nice.
the Salt Bay of his
Wow.
time.
Yeah.
Zoe, you were on MasterChef.
Yes.
Was that because you are a good chef, or did you just put in a good
It's usually
audition?
to do with my availability, Dan. Anything I've ever been on has usually been aligned with my availability. But I do like food.
Right.
Yeah, I like food a lot. But I've got a very scattergun approach to cooking. Sometimes it's excellent. Sometimes it's really not. And it's took me a long time to get out of that thing of, well, if one chili in it is good, 5 is going to be amazing. And I'm very proud to say that I have cooked something that Greg Wallace just took one bite of and went, I can't actually eat that. And I was like, I made his face go numb. I put so much, I made a medieval chicken pie. I don't know what I was thinking. I was panicking at this point. And I put so much clove in it. I numbed Greg Wallace's face.
And I think that's why he left MasterChef
think-
in the end. Probably.
I think that's when the wheels started to come off. Yeah.
So much clove.
Clove.
That's
Clove is
Because
strong.
clove, I think dentists used to use clove,
Yes.
didn't they?
Did they? Yeah, yeah.
For toothache.
that numb?
It has a numbing effect.
know
And
that.
I was like, this is tasty. So I just kept putting more and more and more and more in. And basically,
so
I made
funny.
an anaesthetic pie.
What's
Brilliant.
a medieval pie? I feel like that's got like pigeon in it. And
Well, it had I was using quite a lot of clove and herbs and
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
clove is,
It's a veggie
feels
option.
quite medieval,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
Yes.
Spices.
The
It was
emperor has no
spices.
cloves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, it is time for fact number 3. That is James.
Okay, my fact this week is that the steps to get semen from a shark are: number 1, get the shark to lie on its back, and number 2, remove the semen from the shark. The first of these is by far the hardest.
Welcome to Shark Seaman Academy. It's a 2-part course.
So, first of all, semen, I'm talking about ejaculatory fluid, not sailors.
Great point.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just got to make that clear.
Yeah. Yep.
But this is an article that I read on interestingengineering.com.
Great site.
And it was about an Australian team who are collecting semen from wild male leopard sharks to boost the population and genetic diversity. It's called the Great Australian Stegostoma Semen Expedition.
It's easy for you to say.
And the way that they do it is that they turn the shark upside down, because if you turn sharks upside down, they go into something called tonic immobility, where they're like hypnotized.
Yeah.
There's a few different ways to do it, but that's the main way.
It's crazy that various animals, because it's sharks and a few other things, have this tonic immobility, isn't it?
I've heard some theories that humans do it.
Really?
I don't think this is true for sure, but
Yeah.
like sometimes if people get in very, very stressful situations, they just kind of shut down. Is that kind of thing?
I just find it crazy that some animals have effectively a factory settings position. Like you put the shark upside down
And then it.
and it happens.
Yes.
And,
Yeah, what I loved about this story was it's not all sharks.
Yeah.
Hashtag not all
And not
sharks.
hashtag not all sharks. And I read somewhere it went, it's less successful with great whites. And you think, I wonder how they found that out.
Well, this is the big question, because we know that, the famous thing of saying who was the first person to have the idea to pull the udders of a cow to get milk? Who's the first person to flip a shark and discover not only that it goes into this state, but it lasts for about 15 minutes. I wonder how many lives were lost in the semen removing process.
Well, one thing is that there have been examples of animals doing this to sharks. So there was a witness in California who saw a female orca holding a shark upside down to kill it, basically, to suffocate it to death because it couldn't breathe. So it is possible that humans saw that and then copied the other animals.
Yes,
I guess.
exactly. That will be when
It's possible.
Is there an evolutionary benefit to tonic immobility for leopard sharks?
I don't know what it is, if there is.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of-
it could
it
be
feels like
like,
a loophole.
that thanatosis where you pretend to be dead and other animals will leave you alone. It could be
Yeah,
that, for
but it feels like they
Yes.
can't get themselves out of it. Like they can't stop after 10 minutes.
No.
They have to just wait until it wears off.
It's so
Yeah,
weird.
I don't know.
It
It
is
could
so
be.
weird.
It could be just like a quirk of like the brain.
Their design,
Yeah.
because they've got so many sensors, haven't they, on the front of their noses?
Yeah.
And they're really hypersensitive to it. So
Yeah,
it's-
they've got things called ampules of Lorenzini, which pick up electrical signals.
Yeah.
So they can almost, the same way that you can taste an onion, they can taste electricity through these ampules.
They can. I think I'm right in saying a shark can pick up when an animal is in distress because of the change in. Yeah.
They're screaming. Their
There's
legs,
a shark!
their legs come off. Yeah.
Well, like heightened heart rate and the electrical
really?
impulses.
Oh, that's
Oh, wait a
so
minute.
creepy.
Okay, so the reason we're talking about sharks is because you have swum with sharks.
Yes. Yeah.
Did your,
Dive with
heart,
sharks.
did your heart rate go up, Zoe?
Well,
or-
yeah, well, I was aware of that piece of information when I was in the water with sharks going, I must appear calm in case they pick up on my electrical impulses going through the fucking roof at this point.
What sort of sharks?
I've dived with various sharks, bull sharks, tigers, oceanic white tips, reef sharks, whale sharks,
Oh my
Scallop
God.
hammerheads and giant hammerheads.
All at the same time?
All at the same No, different dives.
Really?
Different
But
dives.
It's like Pokemon. It feels like
Yeah.
you have to do them all.
Or
But these are all-
threshers, also seen a thresher.
This was
Yeah.
training for experiencing Greg Wallace, wasn't it?
That was it. That was it. That was all training just to numb Greg Wallace's face. Where I just rubbed him on his nose and he flipped over on his back.
Are you trying to swim with as many sharks as possible? It feels like this can't be an accident.
I used to have what I would call probably a normal level of fear around sharks. I just, the first time I saw a shark in the water, I really did feel my heart rate go through the roof. It was in Egypt, diving in Egypt, and a shark came out of nowhere, and I was like. But then once that fear went down, I went, oh my God, they're beautiful. They're so beautiful. So since then, we've sort of tried to tailor our diving in order to see specific species. And I'm slightly obsessed with just the beauty and shape of hammerheads. And I always wanted to see a hammerhead. And the first time I saw one, I turned around, I was on a dive in Mexico, and there was one behind me, and I just burst into tears in my mask.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's the biggest shark?
Well, the biggest one that we had was, it was quite funny. We were on a dive. We was at a cleaning station where there were sharks being cleaned by little fish, and we were watching these sharks, and we were like, these are beautiful. I think they were Galapagos sharks and black tips. And all of a sudden, my friend turned around, and if you've ever wondered whether it's possible to hear somebody scream underwater, I can tell you it is.
Wow.
Because going right behind us, obviously just looking at all of our backsides as we were facing the other way, it was an enormous tiger shark.
Cracking ass.
Uh,
Cracking ass.
Yeah.
Cracking ass.
And I
Well, they are
think it-
very scary, aren't they? As in
and
they
it was
do
just- they
attack
will-
if they're
well,
hungry.
They are less fussy about what they eat, should we say.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, so they will be a little bit more opportunistic. Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
But it was just, I was clearly going past all of our bums going, not that one, not that one. That's got a bit of meat on it.
And you,
Yeah.
you could do the snout rubbing on a tiger shark. That does
Yes,
work as
yeah.
well. It is how people have saved their lives in the past.
Yeah.
When
Or
being
save
approached
sharks.
by a... Yeah,
Or
right.
indeed save sharks. So obviously there's lots of sharks in the ocean with hooks that are affecting them, and they're strapped in their mouths. And there have been divers that have learnt how to calm them down and remove the
Yeah.
hooks.
That's
and then
incredible. That's
yeah.
such a sort of, gosh, you think people who do bomb disposal underwater are
Yeah,
brave.
yeah,
and they
yeah.
are, but that is...
We're not taking anything away from those guys.
I'm sorry, and
Podcast at QI.com, right in.
if you're listening to this while you're disposing a bomb underwater, I do think you're pretty cool, actually. That's a very casual approach. My favourite fact about sharks I learned in researching this fact, shark semen, as we were on shark semen at the start of this,
Yeah.
it's extraordinary. Shark semen can last for 4 years
Really?
after deployment. A female shark can keep sperm
Oh, right.
Wow.
inside herself for 4 years and then say, go. The time is right. We've just moved into a new place, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, we're ready.
Is that more about her than the semen, though? As in, if a shark let the semen out just into the ocean and you collected it 4 years later, floating.
I don't think sharks have super semen which can just survive on the tides for 4 years. I think it's
Yeah.
inside the feet. So it's something to
Just
it's something
was
to do.
looking for clarity.
It's where the female's keeping it. So there was
Yeah.
an aquarium in California which had a female bamboo shark. She laid an egg, which grew into a happy, healthy young shark. She hadn't been with any males for 45 months.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because some sharks can do a kind of virgin birth, parthenogenesis, where they clone themselves effectively. They produce an egg which just turns into the mother. But
Yeah.
this was her and a male shark producing a new shark. Just imagine that.
Yeah.
That's really
Imagine
clever.
going on a date with someone and it goes well, and then 5 years later you
They
get a
don't
call.
say
Meet your
you've got-
son.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or meet your yet to be born son. right?
Exactly.
It's like that, isn't it? It's not like you've got a 5-year-old. It's like we're about to have
No.
a baby.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Crazy. We mentioned
is
before
amazing.
about some sharks not being that fussy about what they eat. Most of them only eat meat. But there is one omnivorous shark that I found, which is the bonnet head shark. So it's kind of related to the hammerhead, but it's just got a really kind of rubbish hammer. It doesn't go very wide. It's quite a narrow hammer. But they found that it has seagrass in its stomach, which is very unusual. It's a type of vegetable you get in the water. And what they think is that it eats it to kind of line its stomach, and then it eats these really sort of spiky crabs. And it means that the spiky crabs don't injure its stomach when it eats it.
Wow. Like Gaviscon for sharks.
That's incredible.
Yeah. That's very clever, though,
Yeah,
isn't
isn't
it?
it?
That's stunning.
Yeah.
They're a
I've
bit
never
like-
heard of a bonnet-head shark.
No,
I'll have to
me-
have a look
not
that
me
up.
Stick it on the
either
list,
until-
yeah.
There's some weird-looking sharks out there. Have you ever seen a goblin shark?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that is a. Oh,
It looks-
that's.
What is it?
Oh, it's
Not
gone
nice?
really wrong.
Well, it's named for the fact that it basically
Looks like a goblin.
In fact, I think
Not because it's
largely-
gobbling people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sharks are goblin sharks,
Yeah.
aren't they? Yeah.
Or the raggy tooth shark.
Brilliant.
It's just got. Oh, it's all over the place.
Have you
it's
seen
like
that?
In British waters.
Free
yeah.
Invisalign. Yeah, it's just. It's all teeth are all over.
What's
the
the
place.
dream shark then for you to see?
Oh well, it was the giant hammerheads, and I've seen them, and I've been very, very close. Yeah, yeah.
is very
I've had
cool.
a hammerhead look me in the eye.
Right.
Yeah, I've never been in the water with a great white, and I am cautious about that.
Yeah, it does sound
Yeah.
it sounds rather dangerous.
Yes.
I was reading about what you should do if you do find yourself with an aggressive shark or a shark that is coming for you. The University of Florida's International Shark File says that if you are going to swim with sharks, to sort of help your chances, if it's coming for you, leave the water immediately. So that's one
That's
of the
good.
bits of advice. Very good
Oh,
advice.
gosh. I would never have thought of that.
Yeah, but this is a great one. Ideally, do it with someone else so you don't become a solitary target,
Yeah, well,
which is the old changing your shoes for running shoes so you outrun the
yeah.
the other.
I've sort of done that. Once on a dive trip in Egypt, the Egyptian Navy came and took our little dinghy away that we were using to get back and to the boat. It commandeered it to move some of their own stuff, so it left us in the water with an oceanic white-tip circling underneath us. And the oceanic white-tips they're an interesting shark because they're the ones that, when you hear about sort of pirates being eaten in shipwrecks or planes going down and people being eaten by sharks, it's usually oceanic white-tips. They're the sort of, they're sort of scavenger sharks in that respect. And it was circling underneath us. And I was in the water with this German guy who I hadn't spoken to prior to that point. And I just hung on to him because he was massive. And I thought, well, if it does come for us, I'm hoping it'll prefer a German Wurst.
Oh my god.
Rubbing clothes on yourself.
Yeah, Robbie Clow. I'll just numb you. He's more yummy. I'm more nummy.
I read an account of what it's like to be bitten by a shark by a man called Eric Norrie. And Eric Norrie says it is the scariest thing that you can go through, even scarier, according to him, than some of the other things that have happened to him, which include having been struck by lightning, bitten by a rattlesnake, and nearly beaten to death by a series of monkeys.
Wow.
This ranked.
Come on.
This
He
ranked
doesn't
as
get
the
travel
highest.
insurance anymore, does he? Any prior claims? No.
What was
Yeah.
that? Hang on. What was the first one? Hit by lightning.
He got hit by lightning. He was bitten by a rattlesnake.
Oh,
and then
okay.
he was beaten, punched up by monkeys 2 separate times.
And bitten by a shark.
And then bitten by a shark, and that was the one.
His name is Japanese for seaweed, right? Nori. So maybe he was just lining his stomach.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Okay. I feel like we're avoiding it. How do you get semen out of a shark?
That sounds like the start of a joke.
very, very, very carefully. There are different methods. Some, it's because different sharks, they vary.
Yeah.
And sharks don't have penises in the classic human sense.
All right, so you don't hammer the head.
Oh my god. Oh my god. They've got these claspers, which are grooved organs used for delivery of sperm, which I have to say sound quite penisy to me. But and they're inserted into the female's vent. Again, sounds a little bit penisy, doesn't it? And then they unfold in complicated ways. Aha! That's not what a penis does. So
Okay.
yeah. But you can, some of them you have to, I believe.
Excite.
Yeah.
How do you do
How
that?
do you do that?
Well,
Dress up as a dolphin. Cheeky little
I
dolphin.
think it's more of a manual thing. I don't think there's a visual element to it.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to
Yeah.
be dressed as a
Because they're
lady
knocked
shark.
out at this point.
Sorry?
They're knocked out at this point.
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
They're
yeah.
upside down.
But you can pop a syringe in, or you can, they'll just feel a little prick. Or sometimes you can press on either side, and whoop, out it pops.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Like an
Quite
avocado
the job,
stone.
though, isn't
Exactly, like
it?
an avocado stone. Yeah.
It is quite a job, isn't it? If that is your...
Yeah.
I once met a bloke who took... He got venom from snakes in Australia for antidotes, and that was his job, like taipans and all sorts.
Right.
And I remember saying to him, that's quite a job. And he went, yeah, it's a bit of a dead-end career, really.
He's like, stand-up comedian. Couldn't do what you do. God, what a fun alternative ending that would have been to Jaws. Richard Dreyfuss just flips the shark over and wanks him off at the end.
We're going to need a bigger bottle.
Okay, it is time for our final fact of the show, and that is Andy.
My fact is, the British Olympic skier Eddie the Eagle once came second to his own helmet.
Okay.
So
Okay. Who's it for younger listeners?
Eddie the Eagle is Michael Edwards is his name.
Yeah.
And he represented Britain at the 1988 Winter Olympics. He is an amazing sportsman, and his story is incredible. We'll get into it. But the main thing to know for the fact is that he was broke. He did a lot of his training completely broke. He was sleeping in a caravan, and he was eating out of bins. Like he was
Chef's having sex with a bride next to him.
Oh, I should have been a chef. Yeah. Anyway, so he had been training for a couple of years, and he was so broke that his helmet was tied on with string. And there was one moment where he finished a jump, one of his early competitive jumps, and his helmet just snapped off him, ping, and it landed ahead of him. And
I
so
see.
he says,
so it's not like a ski race where it's top to the bottom quickest. It's a jump where you have to go the
Yeah.
furthest.
Exactly.
Right.
So I didn't know anything about ski jumping. He says, I may have been the first ever ski jumper beaten by his own gear.
Very funny.
And so, yeah, he was ski jumping. Britain didn't really have a tradition of ski jumping at all. He was the first person ever
Yeah.
to represent Britain at the Winter Olympics. And he's just an incredible... He came dead last in the 1988 Olympics, but he won the nation's hearts.
He won the world's hearts,
Yeah.
didn't he?
Yes.
He
He
was
was
a
beloved.
global sensation. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's been a film about him. And have you met him, sorry?
Yes, I've skied with him.
What?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he's such a lovely guy. He
Yeah.
really is. So a few years I've done the Altitude Comedy Festival out in Austria, and on one of those years he was coming out and talking about the film that was just about to be released. So he was one of the guests on the festival talking about his film. And one day the producer went, "Do you want to go skiing with it, Eddie the Eagle?" And I went, "Do I?"
That's amazing.
So yeah, and the thing about him is we sort of concentrate on the fact that he was, he came last in the ski jump. But he's an incredible skier.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a brilliant skier. And I spoke to him, and he was saying, he wanted to be in the downhill, the British downhill team, but he wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
So he thought, well, rather than give up completely, he went, what's nobody doing? And they were like,
Yeah.
ski jumping. So that's where he went.
So he had the British record for ski jumping at the time. He wasn't like a complete slouch. He
No.
was ranked 55 in the world. He had a bad Olympics, I will say that. He
Yeah.
came last by quite a long way, but he wasn't a bad ski jumper, really. Like New Zealand are in the Soccer World Cup and they're ranked 85 in the world, and he was 55 in the world at ski jumping. So that kind of goes to show that he
Yeah.
wasn't.
Yeah.
Exactly. He was, and he was a brilliant downhill skier. Like
Yeah.
you say,
Yeah.
he was the 9th fastest amateur in the world. Like he'd been training and he'd been a brilliant sportsman from a very young age. But he came up.
The thing is, he didn't look like a sportsman,
No.
really. Like, he had these round glasses, didn't
Yeah.
he?
Yes.
That would mist up whenever he skied, so he couldn't see where he was going.
Imagine doing a ski jump and you don't know
Where you're going.
where. It's terrifying.
It's
Like, he said
wild.
1 in 3 jumps he couldn't really see where he was going.
Yeah.
Because the thing about ski jumping is you go down this big ramp.
Yeah.
You're going at about 60 miles an hour. There's a lift. You jump, and then you're trying to get as far down the slope before you hit the ground. So you're sort of moving down the slope like 10 or 15 feet above the ground.
Yeah.
You're never like 100 feet in the air.
Yeah.
But you're just trying to make
Yeah.
The
yourself...
ground drops away
Yeah.
as you. Have you ever stood beside a ski jump?
No.
Oh my god! I mean, when you stand beside the ski jump, it is terrifying. It's utterly. My dad lived in Norway for a while, and there was one round the corner from him. And when you see the structures, you're like, wow, the thought of standing at the top of that and just letting go.
I went to one of the big sort of finals of the year. They do like the 3, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like 3 jumps within a week of each other. And one of them's at Garmisch-Partenkirchen. And I went to that mainly because the mountain is called the Wank Mountain. And
Oh, this is why you went.
one of the best jumpers in the world was Andreas Wank.
Wow.
So I wanted to see Andreas Wank on the Wank Mountain,
Yeah.
which I did. And even it's in Germany, and even though he's German, when he came on, I was by far the loudest cheerer for him. I think, like, I
Really?
really got up and started cheering for him, while the Germans were a bit more.
That's
No,
quite
you
a
tried to,
niche sports
Yeah.
involvement there.
You tried to turn him upside down, didn't you, James?
Shocked him off.
I really like the post career from the Olympics of Eddie because it's just a series of bumbling fun events. It was things like he had a 5-year sponsorship from Eagle Airlines, and so he did adverts to them and so on. But then people wrote songs for him in places like Finland, and he charted with them, even though he didn't speak any Finnish. He had one song which was called "My Name Is Eddie" in the English version of it.
Which it isn't. It's called Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in fairness, Slim Shady isn't Eminem's real
Yeah,
name.
Good point.
And it was written by a protest singer-songwriter called Erwin Goodman, and he was flown over to Finland to sing it live on TV. And when he got to the hotel room, his phone rang and said, "Unfortunately, Erwin, the writer who was going to sing it with you, has died. But we still need you to do it." So he had to go on TV a few hours later singing a song that he didn't really know.
No,
that he
phonetically.
didn't,
It was
phonetically
in
learning.
Finnish.
Yeah.
Not an easy language.
Yeah, exactly.
It's stunning.
But he got a hit with it. There was another one called "Fly Eddie Fly," which was written by Mort Schumann, who wrote the song "Viva Las Vegas."
I think I remember that one. I do remember because he was massive. He was absolutely massive.
Yeah.
And the line about him, which I really like, is that he made it look difficult skiing.
Which it is.
Which it absolutely is.
difficult.
And, you know, he'd been working as a plasterer. He had been skiing from a very young age. He had been training for a long time. But the thing is, there's also this story underpinning it, which is about the snobby British skiing establishment.
Yeah.
So he actually had gotten into the English skiing squad, right?
Yeah.
But on day one, he got into a row with one of the selectors at the club, or the skiing club they were at, and he was sent home. He said, "Right, you're not in the English ski squad anymore." So he thought, well, I'm just going to skip that and get into the Great British squad instead, which he did, which is amazing. And if he jumped 70 meters, he could qualify. And so there's this constant undercurrent of like the British skiing establishment, which they would thought, "Oh, come on, you're making us look a bit silly." And he said when he did the actual Olympic jumps, the 90-meter event, which was the biggie, he said everyone else competing in that event had done 30 to 50,000 jumps off that ramp in their lives. I had done 5. Wow. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he did host a 4-hour press conference once because he was just such an entertaining voice.
He is,
you
yeah.
know,
The
brilliant.
the movie that you mentioned earlier that was made, great movie, and it came about because Matthew Vaughn, who made the film, he was sitting down with his kids and watching Cool Runnings, and his kids were crying with laughter. I've had this experience recently because it was one of my favorite movies as a kid. My boys were in floods of tears. It was just the funniest thing they'd ever seen. And he was like, "Why don't we make movies like this anymore?" And as it turned out, Eddie the Eagle was competing at the exact same Calgary 1988 Olympics that the Cool Runnings Jamaican bobsled team were at.
Oh, yes.
So 2 stories where they tried their hardest but didn't have the tools to win came out of that one Olympics. It's pretty amazing.
I love stories like that. I was watching the most recent Paralympics, Winter Olympics, and there was a Haitian skier with one leg doing the downhill or the Super G, and I just thought, what an incredible achievement!
Yeah.
You know,
Ralph
what
Etienne, I think it's called.
Right.
one of the poorest countries in the world,
Yeah.
if not the poor, you know. And with one leg, and he got down the course. It was a really difficult course. The conditions were awful, and not everybody made it. And I just thought, wow, that is absolutely inspiring.
Do you have an artificial leg for that event? Or do you have...
You can,
You
but he
can, but
doesn't.
he didn't. Yeah.
Good grief, that's amazing.
Yeah, incredible.
Oh, that's so cool. So if you're doing the altitude festival, I'm guessing that you ski.
I ski, yeah.
Is that the downhill classic? What I think of?
Downhill,
No,
yeah.
uphill.
No,
I've never been skiing.
I've broken the mold.
Yeah. It's like coming into Brighton at
much
the end of the
uphill.
marathon.
Yeah. No, I
Okay.
love skiing. I learned to ski in Scotland, and apparently, if you can learn to ski
Oh
in
my
Scotland, you can
God.
ski anywhere.
really?
Yeah.
It's tough in
In
Scotland.
Glenshee, over sheep and
Why is
rivers.
Why is it tough?
Because the conditions are usually pretty grim.
Yeah.
There will be when I was there as a kid, there would be the odd sheep running about, and
And the
camouflage,
lights as
yeah,
well.
Yeah.
and
hard to
you
see.
do laugh. But I have been blown up a mountain in Scotland. Oh, not a euphemism. I have literally been. The wind and the conditions were so awful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what
Quite
you mean by
often.
rough conditions. It's
Like
Yeah.
windy
whenever
and-
I've been,
Yeah.
for instance, you just can only see like about 2 meters in front of you.
Oh, not for
Having
me.
said all of that, and to give Glenshee and the other ski resorts in Scotland its dues, when the weather is good, it's fantastic and it's beautiful. Yeah.
You've never ski jumped, I assume.
No. I would, when I was younger, though, I would have given it a go.
Do you think?
I would have given it a go.
The president of the International Ski Federation, Gianfranco Casper, once said, "It's not appropriate for ladies from a medical point of view to ski jump because he thought their uterus might burst when they landed."
Well, you know, yeah.
And he said that in 2010.
Oh, okay. Oh, I was going to say, well, that would have been the first ever Olympics, though.
Can
wouldn't
you
it?
believe it?
Wow.
2010.
Really?
Wow, so
Oh my
must be
gosh.
correct, right?
Yeah.
Because the landings aren't very hard. That's the thing I didn't...
Not if you do it right.
Yeah.
Because anyone can jump, 10 feet down. That's fine. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're only
When was
10
the last
feet
time
above
you
the
jumped 10 feet down?
Okay, let's move on. But no, so I didn't know anything about ski jumping, right? I've never been skiing or anything like that. But the thing that's so cool looking at it is the way they make themselves more aerodynamic. And there have been all these techniques over the years of how to
Yes.
stay in the air. Because obviously a flying squirrel would be the perfect jet ski jump.
Yes,
Get
yes.
get those flaps out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And come on.
Not if your uterus is going to fall out.
And that's the thing about the sport is your costume has to be skin tight. And these have been, I'm sure you guys in the research found this recent scandal in the skiing world of the Norwegian coaches and one former equipment manager who were caught adding crotch stitching
Oh, yes, yeah.
to make the surface area bigger. And
Was there
therefore,
not a thing where people were putting injections in their
Yes.
penises or something?
so this is penis gate. And this, I think,
That's an area of York, I think.
penis gate, I think, is still under investigation because basically, if you think it wouldn't have an effect just adding some extra stitching into the crotch, it doesn't sound like it would have much of an effect, right? Some research has been done which concluded a single extra centimetre at the crotch could mean you got 4 metres further.
Wow.
It's quite a lot further you can go with just a little extra fabric, which is why
Right.
you're measured with a laser so that your costume is absolutely skin tight.
Right.
Wow.
And some athletes have supposedly been injecting their penises with a kind of acid, sort of medical acid, to increase the circumference by a couple of centimeters,
So it does
which
Gives
would
you more
make their
surface area.
which would give you more surface area and could lengthen your jumps. But not out in front. I mean,
they're not
increasing your-
coming second to their own helmets
Yeah.
as well, right? Is what you're saying. Okay, that's it. That is all of our facts. Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to get in contact with any of us about the things that we've said over the course of this show, we can all be found online. I'm on @Schreiberland on Instagram. James?
Come join me on LinkedIn. Search my name. I'm on there. Offer me a job.
Andy?
I'm at Andrew Hunter M.
And Zoe, where are you?
I'm at Zoe Lyons Comedy, I think.
Yes,
Yes, I
you are.
am, aren't I? Yes, thank you. Thank you, Dad. Yes.
And so, okay, you've got your pod, which is very exciting.
Yeah.
And you discuss running, and you have guests on all the time. You had
Yeah.
Alice Roberts on not too long ago.
Yeah, she was brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So give everyone a quick idea of what.
So
here.
the podcast is called The Running Joke. I present it with my fellow comedian and fellow runner Esther Manito, and it's about all things running. And we have lovely guests on talking about all aspects of running and taking the stigma out of running. So it's for anybody and everyone. And having read about Jeff Galloway's approach, I'll be Jeffing my way around a lot of runners.
That's very cool. So available now where you get all your podcasts. If you want to write into us about any of the things that we've said over the course of this show, podcast@qi.com. Send us your best facts because we'll take those to Little Fish, the show that we do every Monday, or send us feedback about things and experiences you've had related to the show because Andy goes through the inbox, picks out the best, and that goes to Jewel, which is Drop Us a Line, our mailbag show, and that's a part of our secret club, which is called Club Fish. If you're not a member of Club Fish, go to patreon.com/clubfish and check it out. There's multiple tiers, multiple things that you can do. Otherwise, just come back here next week because we're going to be back with another episode. We will see you then. Goodbye.